Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Commander Runningcloud's log. The name of this show is Optimism because, oh brother, we are really in it, aren't we? Here in Houston, we're going on a lack of power for day five. I had to throw my food away the second day, I think. So I've been eating just my emergency supply, and I learned a lot of things about making sure you keep the expiration dates in your mind on your emergency food. And don't forget Canned foods will be very important, but you got to have a can opener that works. And canned soup. I don't have those things, but I did have some macaroni and cheese and tuna and sardines, and they're holding me down. And Foxy too. So we're able to get enough to eat, just barely. But I don't know, we're just not doing that much moving around, I guess, as much as we can. Anyway, what we're learning about this electrical outlet problem is I lost another fan today, and I could barely get this Chromebook charged. That's why I didn't do a broadcast yesterday, because I was having so much trouble getting this charged. Everything was showing low energy. You see, there's obviously a generator on around here. I am in a hotel, and the hotel is in the energy district of Houston. And the energy district has a lot of high rises covering oil and gas installations. And across the street in Bush Park, they have enough space and a big mound built that almost looks like they've got a collider built over there, a particle collider, like the one in Switzerland. At least that's a possibility, and it's very heavily guarded by bicyclists and walkers, and they make sure that there's a big moat that keeps everybody from this community and from outside from getting in there. In order to get into that area, you have to walk quite a far distance to find an overpass, because they built a great big open kind of gutter that's very deep that water goes through there. So I noticed that when I first moved here, how absurd it was that there's no place for the kids here to play, no place for them to really go out and play. Here at the hotel, a lot of the people are gone now. A lot of them were hackers, computer hackers, and they just use this as an office because there's so much traffic that goes by here. And when it stops at the light, they're able to invade everybody's telephone through their cars. And the level of sophistication here is pretty high too. They're actually able to tell when I have my notebook plugged in and decrease the power to it. And they can hack into my phone so good that the home and lock screen is useless in a Faraday bag. Yeah, you heard me right. They hacked into my cell phone. I opened up my Faraday bag and I found my iPhone 15 awake and 10% more of the battery gone. It takes me so much battery power to do anything because those messages and the home and lock screen are so compromised. So I'm really lucky to be able to be on talking to you right now, and I don't know if I'll be able to charge this notebook up again, but not being able to charge it has taken a big hole out of my entertainment and my ability to do any research on what's going on. But I was able to plug that old Pixel phone in and get some internet on it and find out that Donald John Trump was shot during an assassination attempt. So I'm not sure what that's going to do for the Republican National Committee conference that's scheduled to start the day after tomorrow on Monday. And with the Democrats demanding Biden to be out, it really looks like the United States of America Corporation does not have a successor to their private corporation that's running America right now. If you have not listened to Bill and Jane Mount, please do so, because they are really able to give you a lot of the meaning behind these things that are happening. They're my primary source. The first place that I went to when I got a source to get online was to see what Bill and Jane Mount had to say. So things are looking really, really interesting in America right now. Now, America is all of us on this continent. It doesn't mean the United States of America corporation. But they're saying, that we can expect more invasions of people from the world that will be coming to take over America. And that's pretty scary to me. That's pretty scary to me. I find that a little more frightening than I would have thought, because the power has been out here for 5 days, and I ran out of food, fresh food, 3 days ago now, I think. This is the 4th day, I think. And I'm already, suffering from heat, because even if I open my door, it's hot outside, but it just feels so dangerous. I left my door open all night long last night, but I had to stay awake all night long to be sure that no one came into my room or tried to kill me, because when I couldn't charge my Chromebook, my thought was, oh my God, they don't want me to be able to document them when they come in here to kill me, right? When they move from torture to murder. But everyone out there was very peaceful. I heard them making noise, but for the most part, they stayed away from my door. The only bad thing is I had a really nice big fan, and it was plugged into one of the very compromised electrical sockets. And now that big fan is dead, just like the other one went dead. Okay, now here's what's interesting about that. I told you before that there were blackouts here and very strange things happening with the electricity. Well, the way it is now, I get a low level of current in. It's enough to turn the light on in the mini fridge, but not to cool the mini fridge. The lamps, the standard lamps won't go on, but the new style lamps will go on. But today, the past 24 hours, they were able to eliminate a lot of my ability to use my USB chargers. My USB chargers, whether it's a C charge or the old USB 2, I'm getting a lot of trouble, and I think it's very specific. I think that one of the things that this blackout is doing is allowing the enemies to attack the grid in a very special and particular way. As you know, attacking the grid is one way that our enemies can compromise us, by cutting off our communications to each other and our communications with the larger news agencies and reporters that we follow. But being able to actually hand cherry pick which devices you're going to destroy, which devices you're going to take out, would be a great benefit. And with artificial intelligence and those supercomputers run by solar panels that they've got, that the private corporations of the United States of America Corporation and the private corporations that they've sold us out to, they will have enough power to crunch those things so that the lights might work in your house, but your phone is not going to work, and your phone will be compromised, and all your messages are being read. And it's really quite terrifying. Now, I think that I keep thinking about what it must have been like for the Brits during World War II. I keep thinking about that. I keep thinking about it because this is the first time that war has come to America, directly to our lands and shores. I won't say this is the first time that we've had concentration camps established by the Europeans here. It really isn't. But I am living in a concentration camp. I'm very sure of that. And I just feel that I don't know what's going to happen next. That's how I'm feeling. But I'm being very optimistic about it all. I'm being very optimistic. In terms of what happened to Donald Trump and what's happening to Joe Biden, it's very serious. That means that the United States of America Corporation, who have been running our country, posing as elected leaders, they have no one to appoint to the position. No one, there's no one to run our nation now, except maybe Robert Kennedy. I think people might accept him. But the most alarming problem is the fact that we don't have any leaders at all. I mean, a fake leader was a leader, and it was a big problem having these appointed leaders appointed by foreign corporations. But now they've taken both those guys out. I mean, Trump probably survived, and he'll probably be just fine, but they're still predicting riots for the Republican convention, and that starts on Monday. And they're still expecting a great big sky event, right? Well, look at all the chaos that we all are in right now. I mean, we had the Midwestern states stricken by tornadoes and hurricanes, tornadoes and big rainstorms and floods. And now we've got the city of Houston totally debilitated. I mean, even if the power comes on tomorrow, I saw a news report where restaurants are having to throw mass quantities of their food out. So Sam's Club is all out of things like soup, canned soup, all out, delivery only. So maybe they can deliver it from another town that's not here, but most of the emergency preparedness things that a person would want are gone here. They're gone here. And nobody was expecting a 5-day brownout, this kind of devastating situation. So I find myself asking myself now, I say, okay, you've been following this narrative that somebody put in your mind since 2017 or so, that all these terrible things were going to happen, but you were going to be recruited into time travelers and Star Trek. And that was what I had been given to believe about my own destiny, my own self. And that's probably just to keep me in the game, keep me going, keep me believing. Because after 5 days in darkness, they're making noise outside my door, so they're aware that I'm broadcasting now. And the inability to recharge my Chromebook looming in the distance, and the loss of fans to keep it cool in here, which means the risk of his heat stroke grows ever larger. And I'm just feeling that I'm going to be here. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling that there's not going to be a rapture for me. There's not going to be a rescue for me. There's not going to be a place for me to go besides right here through this. And as I'm going through this in a concentration camp, I'm trying to decide, is it better in here? Or would it be better if I was out somewhere, in a private residence? The way that they use the economic system to lure me and trap me in this place, not just the economic system, but the promise of a partnership, the promise of a partnership was also on the table. And with those things attracting me to Houston, that's how I got here. Now I can't get out. I feel like I walked into a big trap, and now I'm sitting in the hole. The loss of electricity has cut down on the food in the hotel, I believe, because the roaches have lost their mind here. I didn't see many roaches here. Now I'm seeing roaches of every size. I saw a great big bug. I don't even think it was a roach. I think maybe it was a water bug. And I still think it's around here somewhere in this room. But I had one roach. I reached up on the desk to get a cup of tea, some honey for my tea, and a roach just jumped on my arm and crawled down my arm. I almost jumped out of my skin. You can believe that. And then I couldn't find the damn thing. And then not long afterwards, it came out from underneath this little stand where I keep Foxy's food. And it just stared at me, just sat there staring at me. It did not run. It stared at me until I got a bowl from the table and put it on top of it. And then I went to get, some bleach to slow it down, spray it with bleach, slow it down before I could put it in a garbage bag. I or flush it down the toilet. I put it in a garbage bag, dead. But not long after that, I see a bug about this big run across the floor. Then another roach comes out. So I've never seen the roaches so bold, and I've never seen this many roaches in my room. I usually have the diatomaceous earth that I put down usually keeps them out of here. They usually spread the word, don't go to Runningclouds. You're likely to become desiccated. But they are so hungry, the roaches, that they're just taking crazy chances here. Crazy chances. And I don't like roaches. They fill me with a great deal of fear. So it's just one thing after another. And I'm facing so many crises with food, with heat, with electrical power, with communications, with privacy, with personal security. I'm facing so many problems that I'm almost numb. Right? I mean, I pray a lot. I spent a lot of yesterday praying. And prayers are not getting me out of it. Prayers are not getting me out of it. But I still keep saying, thank you to God and Goddess. I still keep saying thank you because, well, death is boring. Nothing happens when you're dead. You're just nothing. It's very boring. I think it's better to be alive even when your life isn't that great. Unless it's much worse than this. I wouldn't want to live a life much worse than this life I'm living right now. I don't even want to live this life that I'm living right now. Nobody would. But I can say that for many times in my life. One of the things that I've been able, well, not really enjoying, but one of the things that I've been doing as I've been keeping my energy use down is remembering my life, almost like I'm having a death experience where I go through my life, which I didn't go through. I didn't have that in my NDE. I didn't have a life review, but I'm having a life review now. I'm saying, when were things worse for me? And unfortunately, I can remember more than a couple of times when things were this bad and I was this alone, facing these terrible, tragic things. In fact, when I thought of myself as among God's chosen to be raptured from here, one of the things I thought was that maybe that's why my life was so much suffering, unbelievable tragedy, one tragedy after another, but not just, a run-of-the-mill kind of tragedy, but spectacular tragedies, one after another. So much so that by the time I went to college, I just felt like I'd been through the mill. I'd really seen so much tragedy in my family, so much loss, from European national racism and the economic constraints that made it impossible for anyone to find a better solution. Even right now, my family can't help me because the Europeans made sure that we would never have enough money, that we would always be on the edge of survival, each one of us ourselves, without anything left over for anybody else. It's not just a matter of greed. It's greed in some cases. But I don't think you have as much greed when you have abundance. If everybody has more than enough, people are more likely to share. But when everybody feels, oh my God, the mortgage, the car note, the insurance, they're all just going up, up. And my jobs are insecure, right? because everybody's job is insecure unless they own their own business and are in a lucrative industry and don't have any enemies after them. So it's very interesting to know that the United States of America Corporation is broke. They're just printing money and giving it away to keep the wars going. And now there is no viable succession plan that I can see. I mean, nobody wants Kamala Harris in office. They think that she's silly. And wasn't she born in another country? Wasn't there some issue with her citizenship? I don't really know, but it didn't stop Obama, right? Because the point is as long as the United States of America Corporation, a privately owned corporation in Washington, D.C., it's just in Washington, D.C. Their territory only extends a little bit out from Washington, D.C. You know, Brandon Joe Williams confirms what William Mount has said, that we've been controlled and giving in to an entity, a private corporation that only has authority in Washington, D.C. And I would even question that authority. But as long as they've got control of the police force and the military, it doesn't matter where your government is. You can have no government at all if you've got a military that's obeying you, that will do what you say and destroy the people you want to. If you've got the power to hold somebody in a concentration camp and you've got soldiers that will attack them with weapons, attack their bodies when they stick their head out, then you don't need much territory for real, because you have virtual control of everybody. And none of us are really ready to govern ourselves. Well, I see that the power on my Chromebook is still going pretty great. And that's really good news for me, because it means that maybe I can get on again tomorrow. I don't want to turn it off. I'd rather watch some YouTubes from people I like to follow. I'd rather catch up on some news. I'd rather do a lot of things, but I just don't see myself doing that. I'm trying to focus on optimism, and I'm trying to remember all of the times that the good ETs have communicated with me, and all of the times that the time travelers have communicated with me, because I'm not getting any reinforcements through cyberspace when I can't use my machine in cyberspace, as you might easily understand. So I'm feeling so disconnected from my sources of optimism. But I've been through so much, people, that I know how to generate my own positive thoughts. And I'll tell you a little secret. I still want to get off the planet. I still want to be in the time court. I still want to join a Star Trek. And I'm starting to visualize it. I'll tell you, while I was sleeping, napping, watching my door, I had so many dreams that had me wake up smiling and being happy. Because that's the future for me. I know that my future is happy. I know that my negative karma is so expansive that I can look forward to many, many centuries of joy and pleasure, of happiness, of love, of family. It's so funny because when they were very first indoctrinating me in the active branch of the ET military there in Phoenix, Arizona, when they were first indoctrinating me, they said to me, "You are a leader because you have such good karma. You have such good karma. You haven't hurt anyone, hardly anyone. That your karma is so good that your karma can be used negatively to eliminate enemies. Because no matter how you slice it, killing is wrong. Even if you're killing someone that's bad. Killing is fundamentally wrong. But war, I guess war means killing. I don't know. But I'm grateful that I've got the emergency generator that gives me as much light as I am getting. And I'm grateful that I could get enough power to charge my Chromebook to do this broadcast. And I am grateful for my optimism, for my belief that this is all going to work out in my favor. Maybe your favor too. I mean, if you're one of the people following me, chances are you're part of the crew that I'm a part of. And even though we're all blacked out, it doesn't mean that everything we've been doing has stopped or been defeated. And yeah, America's going to go through some pretty big changes. I mean, Bill Mount said that the Europeans have been extending the railroad from the southern border of Mexico to the southern border of America. So they're planning on sending more slaves or troops or people to take our place once we've been wiped out. I don't really know. I just know that this could go any way. That there is no guarantee that things are going to go one way or another. I believe that the good ET social architects have everything going the way they want to. They now have all the American people knowing that we don't have any leader. It's on you and you yourself. We know that now. We know that if we don't have a future where food is decentralized, where we all have land and crops, that will be able to be wiped out. But when I hear about the sewer situation, even your crops can be contaminated if you do not control the infrastructure personally in committees, controlling your infrastructure, testing your water. You know, they put a boil water notice on Houston a couple of days ago. So I'm, trying to be very careful about my use of the water. They even said you should put water for your toothpaste, right? For brushing your teeth. Excuse me. They say the hospitals are overcrowded here. So I hope I don't have an emergency with my teeth or anything else. And I just think that, I've had personal crises, personal tragedies in my life that would just rock the chart. But I've never seen a public tragedy of this scale. Even when we were in Connecticut and the snow was as tall as my house, it wasn't as desperate as it is here in Houston for me, because I had a house. And I don't know, the roof, I could have caved in, I don't know. But that was in 2010. No, that was in 2010, I'm pretty sure. That when we had those huge blizzards and storms. Because the next winter, Juan was at my house living there. And that was a comfort to me, when I didn't acknowledge who he really was. And even now, when I'm coming out of my twilight sleep, when I'm leaving that last little bit of sleep, I forget. I forget where I am, and I think I'm in the normal world again. And I think that I must have imagined living in this concentration camp, and I must have imagined these injuries, and I must have imagined all of these terrible things that are happening nationally. But I don't think I did imagine them. I don't think I imagined them at all. And I think there's a lot more to the power failure than we're being told about. I think that I read an article in CNN that said the core of the earth has gotten so slow, it's almost moving backwards now. And what that means is that if the core of the earth stops, but the mantle keeps moving, you could get the impression that the core was moving backwards instead of the mantle moving forward. It's like when you're on one train, another train is passing you and you're disoriented. You can't tell if that train is coming or going. Well, we could be facing a situation far worse than what we're knowing. And, going through this blackout could be the best time that we're going to be having, because when my food runs out, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. And I only have a couple of more days of food, I think. And if I can't recharge my computer to find out what's going on or to do any broadcasts, then you're not going to be hearing from me. So you're not even going to know what I'm going through or what other people in this area are going through. And wouldn't that be a great reason to cut all the communications out? I mean, if you're the leaders and you know exactly what's happening, wouldn't you try to keep a lid on it for other places where it's not happening? I mean, we have all seen the Navy map of the United States of America. We've all seen what the future is for this region where I'm trapped, where I'm staying. And while part of me feels like, well, I'm going to just get in an airplane and go to Costa Rica, I know that anywhere I go, I don't have enough money to be welcome there. I just don't. My little economic power would put a burden on any other nation. So there's no place for me to go. I mean, I tried to leave when they first started coming after me. I tried to leave around the time that they recruited me, because I still believe the good ETs recruited me. I still believe I did a pretty damn good job putting things together, finding the underbelly and dragging it out so everybody could see what was happening in America in terms of the private corporations taking advantage of us. And the good thing is that the 5G might not be working. You might notice that my face looks a little less tweaked out, almost as if it might be healing. Well, it could be because the 5G might be turned off in this power crisis, because there are 5G poles all around here. All around here, there are 5G poles. And other big lights on the tallest poles I've ever seen. Big barrel lights that look very weird and strange. So there could be a very good side to this power outage. There could be a very good reason why I'm still here going through this. Because I was hoping to be out of this region by now, but things didn't work out that way. And you just have to trust Goddess sometimes. You just have to trust the Goddess. I mean, even if I die, I can't get out, right? I can't get out of this circumstance. So what if I die? Well, I don't think I do. Every fiber of my being is completely alive, and I don't think I die. I think I stay alive. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. Well, if I live and America gets taken over, maybe they made a deal with their cousins in Russia, to send some Russians over to occupy our towns. But it'll still be Europeans, and it'll still be European rule. And if you saw that movie, The Kingsman, you know that they're all cousins. They're all related. So even if the Europeans are having foreign troops, other foreign troops come in, the bill stops with the Europeans. This is their war plan. This is their government that's fallen. So it's going to be interesting to see what's next. I never would have predicted the events that we're seeing. I mean, I thought that the Biden debate was amazing, and the results of that were wonderful and amazing. But the assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump, well, that just turns the whole thing inside out, doesn't it? That proves to all the American people that there are no viable candidates. We've sat watching two octogenarians fight for first place as the executive of the United States of America Corporation. But we know that they were never in charge anyway. Not even when they were elected were they running the show. So we don't know who's really running the show. We really don't know. But you want to know what I think? I think it's the good ETs. Yeah. No, that's really what I think. I think it's the good ETs. I'm trying to find my ability to turn this broadcast off. But, like I said, there's a lot of hackers. A lot of them are gone, though. It's really weird to be here without the usual people that are here. There are still people. Don't get me wrong. There are still people. I hear them when they're outside. But, well, I'm going to leave you now. And in a little while, I might open my door. And I can't promise that I'll be back because I might not get enough power in my Chromebook to come back. And I have, a good amount of it right now, but I'm going to use a little bit of it tonight. And I don't know what will happen if I open my door, or if if I'm going to have to open my door because I'm losing my fans. And I'm pretty sure it's deliberate. I'm pretty sure they're coming in, identifying my devices and taking them out. I'm pretty sure their capabilities for manipulating the grid are just that sophisticated. And this is the beta test, so a lot of it is happening first here. So thank you for joining me. I would tell you to pray, but prayer alone is not going to get it. You're going to have to be sure that you have, cans of soup and bottles of water and fans or blankets or generators would be smart. But they sent out an emergency notice. The generators produce carbon monoxide, so be sure do not put your generator inside your home, my dears. Well, I don't know who my friends or enemies are, but I sure hope I got a lot of friends out there. That's what I'm hoping, because I am here with no electricity, so I'm cut off from watching my YouTubers and reading my Before It's News and listening to their broadcasters. And I will check Real Raw News before I go and see, if there have been any advances. But we haven't heard much from Governor Abbott, the governor of Texas, and that is extremely interesting. Makes you wonder if he is even about, or if they got him and put him in the Gitmo. I only hope that the people left are the good people, the people that care about each other, the people that are moral, the people that love. I pray to God we don't go into a Mad Max scenario, or a scenario like the one in that Rosanna Arquette movie about the end of the world. I'm just hoping that we don't have, all the horrible things that Hollywood has let us know can definitely happen. I hope that we enter an age where Americans protect and care about each other, even without leaders. I hope we're entering an age where we are producing food enough to sell to other people, or give away enough to sell. I hope that we're entering an age where people volunteer to do the job, because the money's worthless anyway. And if you've got the skill or want to gain the experience, isn't that a boon for you to develop yourself and learn more things to do? So I think that we still could be entering a golden age, but it's really up to you. It's really up to you. You've got free will and you do know how to behave. So take me to your leader. I'm coming to you. You're the leader. What are you going to do? Who are you going to save?